Hello, and welcome to the Hello You Show, where we talk about big dreams and taking real action. Through transformative stories, a bit of neuroscience, and real conversations, this show is here to help you explore creating your next level life with authenticity and passion. I'm Jessica Rice, a design techie and former engineering leader turned vision evolution coach on a mission to help other women rise up and lead a life of purpose. So get cozy and say hello again to the real you. Hello and welcome back to the Hello You Show. My name is Jessica Rice and I am your host. So it's been a couple of weeks since I came on and spoke directly about anything that I've experienced over the last several months in relation to growing my business, coaching, and really discovering what your authentic voice is. After all, that is what the show is about. And I'll be honest, it's been an interesting time over the last several months as I've explored uncovering different aspects of myself in relation to the work that I do and running a business. And so I wanted to talk about, and I spoke about this a little bit last week as well on the social media live, which is the importance of really understanding who you are in alignment with inside of your career, inside of your business, and in your life. Because quite frankly, there are always going to be people who try to tear you down. And it's an unfortunate truth. And I've experienced this multiple times throughout my life, in my career, and even recently in my business. Sometimes it can really take us by surprise or blindside us as well, because we start to maybe trust people and then they might show a little bit more of their true colors. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit because when we are wanting to do something more, we have a greater calling on our life, on our heart. There's a greater passion, there's a greater purpose. It's given to us, I firmly believe, for a reason. We are here for a reason, for a purpose, and God's calling on our life is there as a message that we are intended to share. And I felt that incredibly strongly when I was coming up in my career. I felt it incredibly strongly when I was even in college, that there was something more that I was supposed to be doing. I just didn't always know exactly what that was or what that looked like. As far as I was aware, a lot of my dreams had vanished earlier in my life because I didn't become the person I thought I was going to become when I exited high school. And so some of the thoughts that I had, I felt like, okay, I'm washed up. I'm not going to be able to move forward on the dreams that I had. All of that is said and done. But it never left me. And I think that's what gave me the drive and the stamina and the ambition and the purpose to keep seeking out doing more. High achievers, high performers tend to continually take on more in the pursuit of finding what it is that will bring greater value. They are looking to bring value into the work that they do and be of service. And so when I'm working with high achievers, oftentimes those are things that we're often, I'm thinking about is what is it that is that purpose that you are deeply inside of you trying to fulfill and trying to solve. Many times we don't know exactly what it is. And so then when we come across people who also don't align with what it is that we're trying to do, don't understand why we take on so much, what it is that we have to prove, why we're so determined, it can feel to them, I think, like, what do I want to say? It can feel unknown and maybe threatening. And so therefore they find different ways to maybe tear down your character or attack your person or comment on your personality, your style of dress, your behavior, the way you look. All of these things can start to come up. And I honestly don't know if people fully understand what it is that they're doing. I don't think it's truly calculated, but it is something that we have to be aware of and creating boundaries around so that when it happens, we are not so blindsided. I saw this amazing post the other day about, really, if any time someone makes you question who you are at your core, that is not a person to be listening to. And I had that happen to me recently, and it really knocked me off because I wasn't actually expecting it at all. And I thought to myself, gosh, you should know better. This has happened to you before, which is why I wanted to record this, because it can happen time and time again. The more that you rise up, every time you take another step in the direction that you are intended to go, there are going to be people who inadvertently don't agree, don't see it, don't understand. And they may do and say things that might attack you or tear you down. And they might say it in a loving way. But because they don't understand, you have to be mindful and careful with what you allow in internally, what you allow inside of you, what you allow into your mind, what you allow for you to measure your success around and against, which is why I think it's incredibly important that you are very mindful of who you align your success with, making sure that you have key people in your life, in your court, in your corner, who are going to be there as a support for you. Because if I didn't have those people in my life, I can't tell you where I would be right now. I can't tell you whether or not the other people, the naysayers, the ones who didn't believe in me, would have gotten to me enough. See, when something happens to me, I can call up my coach. I can call up my friend. I have incredible family that supports me. We don't always have all of those things. And so sometimes you need to make sure that you're baking that into your life. The most successful people that I work with and that I know, and there's quite a number of successful people that I work with, have key people strategically placed in their lives so that they cannot fail. This is why I have multiple coaches, and I am very scrutinizing on who I do business with and who I align myself with. And if for any reason that they demonstrate to me a lack of integrity, a lack of accountability, then it's a message to me that maybe this isn't a partnership that is a good one for me. And this is true in anything that we do, because if we allow other people to tear down our dreams and our passion and our purpose, our higher calling, then we won't fulfill what we're here to do. And we're not going to feel rested and satisfied. And there's always going to be something that's bugging us, nagging at us, telling us, this isn't it. This isn't quite the right path. This isn't quite the right thing. And there are stepping stones that we go on. There are stepping stones for everything in our lives, but we have to be mindful. And we don't need to stay there too long, which is another piece to this message. What do we do when we're starting to go down a path and we don't feel like we're sure of what the next step is that we should be taking? How do I move from where I am now to this greater purpose? How do I make this possible for myself? And that's where you start leaning into that deeper work, that deeper calling, that message, and being very clear on where you set your intentions every single day. There are plenty of days in my life now where my mindset isn't quite right, and I know it, and I can feel it, and I can hear the self-talk that I have, and I know the energy that's exuding out of me and the words that are coming out of me aren't quite right. And I have to step back and I have to think to myself, is this what I want to be? Is this who I want to be? And how is this furthering me into becoming the person I am intended to be? Every day, this is the question that we need to be asking ourselves. Am I doing and am I behaving and am I thinking and am I acting in the way that will take me to becoming the person that I would like to be, that I'm intended to be, that I need to be in order to be successful? Who is that person? And how am I showing up as that person? Because they live inside of us. That person is inside of us already. There might be some work that's necessary to start bringing them out and feel more natural, more authentic, because maybe you haven't explored who that person is fully. Maybe you're not even fully comfortable with that person sometimes. Maybe it does make you want to shy away. For a long time in my life, I wanted to just hide and shy away. I didn't want the spotlight on me. And yet sometimes we're called to do that. We are called to do and go forth in a greater way, regardless of whether it makes us fully comfortable. Comfort is not the same as authenticity. Being in our comfort zone, feeling completely natural isn't quite the same as being authentic. Authentic comes from a deeper passion inside of you. You might feel uncomfortable and be authentic. You might be a quiet leader and still speak up authentically. And I want you to think about that and how that resonates for your life and how you show up and the things that you do and say within your work, within your life. What's furthering you to that next level? And that's why in a lot of the work that I do, I tell you to call upon and draw upon the experiences that you've had in your life that have taught you something. You've learned a lesson. Maybe they were hard. Maybe they were so challenging that you have a really hard time even looking at them and facing them. But what was the lesson that it taught you? And what is it that you're going to do with it that can then be turned into a gift for someone else? How can you turn the things that you've experienced in your life into purpose, into meaning? Because I do feel it oftentimes when we're thinking that, I could probably be doing something more. That's it. We're not using our gifts to the fullest extent. And we may have outgrown the role that we're in because we can no longer utilize them to the fullest extent. And so then we have to think about what's another way? What's the next level? What's the greater impact that I am here to make and to do? And how does leveraging all of my knowledge, my skills, my expertise tie into that? It's everything of who we are. It's everything. It's not just one piece of your life, one facet, one section. It's not just, who you are in your job right now. It's not just who you are based on, your team or how you lead or what your business looks like. It's not even what you learned in college. Oftentimes it's all of it. It's the things that you learned and you experienced as a child. It's how you survived and coped and grew. And sometimes it's unlearning some of that so that you can relearn how you take that and you morph it into something greater. See, my life has always been about how do I take the things that I've experienced and turn them into something greater? How do I take this piece over here and turn it into something beautiful? Something so ugly, something so hard, something so harsh and unfathomable, and turn it into a diamond. That's your life. That is what you are called to do and you are here to do. We may not have choice and we may not have been able to decide some of the things that have happened to us, but we do have the ability to take it and use it for good. And when I think that sometimes we are adding more and more and more and more to our plate, it's because we're figuring out and we're trying to understand, how do I take this piece, this knowledge that I know I have innately inside of me and use it in a meaningful way, which is why it is so important that you are aligning yourself with the people who will back you up, help to carry you, lift you up when others knock you down, and be there to dust you off and say, no, go forth, go on your way, do it, because that is what you are here to do. So this was really on my heart. I wanted to share this with you because when that happens, it's how we get back up that truly matters and determines our success and helps to define our path forward. It's not all of the other stuff where people say you can't do this or you can't do that. It's not even the stuff you tell yourself. There is no it's too late. It's only what's next. What's a new direction? What's a new way of thinking about this so that I can continue to evolve and become the person that I am intended to be? All right, I'd love to know your thoughts. Please share them in the comments. Let me know. How does this resonate for you? And thanks so much for joining me today. Stay tuned for another great episode next week. Thank you for tuning in to the Hello You Show. It's been a pleasure to have you with us on this journey today. If you found value in our conversation and want to support the show, please take a moment to like, follow, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'd also deeply appreciate it if you could leave us a review. Your feedback not only helps us grow, but also enables others seeking inspiration and authenticity to discover our community. Until next time, keep embracing your story with purpose.